I have two thoughts that are kind of looming and worth sharing. Right now, it's this idea of trying to get Klaviyo and Shopify to invest in us. If we can get that done, it's going to help us more than anything else. There's this other notion of this very sensitive relationship that we have with Klaviyo and how careful we are with it. I think this investor is talking about us at their board meeting with their founders, and that could still go really wrong. And if it does, we are going to be in a very, very bad situation. I've built my whole brand around being like, I'm okay being aggressive so long as it's legal. Is it only about being legal? No, it's about being legal and like unlocking value in a way that like is not damaging to the ecosystem.
In the US, the CAN spam law of 2003 states that you don't actually need to have a first party opt-in, meaning somebody telling you to email them from their website. We enable a very aggressive marketing tactic that makes people a lot of money. But, there's kind of two sides of every house. The revenue people love us because I've heard that. And then these other, legal compliance like deliverability. They are somewhat less enthusiastic about what we're doing.
We are very unsure of what Klaviyo thinks about what we're doing, even though every one of our customers uses Klaviyo and we have an integration with them. So it's this very sensitive relationship. These guys wanted us dead, we would be dead by now.
So we're going to Lou's house?
Lou Marchetti, the one and only. Lou is a very, very close friend of mine who, over the past 6 months, I'd say, has become this sort of voice of a sage advisor. We talk about life and business during these workouts that we do. Ever since the trajectory of this thing has changed wildly, he's just making sure that I approach anything eyes wide open that I end up doing.
And we're live. It's Adam Robinson, founder and CEO of Retention.com. I competed in the email marketing space for a long, long time. 8 years, maybe 10. It did not go well. However, two companies shaped how I will forever look at business going forward. The two companies are MailChimp and Klaviyo. Why MailChimp? Because MailChimp gained a monopoly level position, bootstrapped an SMB with this incredible freemium play that they used to wipe out the incumbent, Constant Contact. It was incredible to watch. What's even more impressive, in my opinion, is that Klaviyo, in that environment, in an age where MailChimp had a monopoly, was able to ultimately gain monopoly share of the Shopify universe. I hope to emulate that playbook with Retention.com and end up at a similar position in the Shopify ecosystem as Klaviyo has.
I like to push through.
Yeah, like that.
My dad's like, yeah, I really want to retire. I'm like, cool. Like, well, we start talking about it. He's like, yeah, I just got 7 cases in. I'm saying yes to all of them. I'm like, okay, well, so you can hit this first. And so these are just similar to what we're doing. There's explosives. So slow, keep the core tight. Nice. Yeah, good explosion. Nice, slow, good deep.
We have a call with a board member of Klaviyo who was at a board meeting at Klaviyo last week in Boston.
Okay. So he was at a board meeting with Klaviyo because he's on the board.
He's on the board.
Okay.
So he gets on the call and like this guy is just dumbfounded by what we're talking about. He's like, have you ever spoken to these Klaviyo guys? I'm like, and I described to him this really sensitive nature of this relationship. And he's like, dude, it's gotten so hard for brands, for merchants to target after this Apple, Facebook doesn't work anymore for these people. So he's like, all they're talking about in all of these board meetings is how to help these merchants target. So anyway, they had a board meeting last week and we have another call with him today. So I don't know if he mentioned us. Based upon his level of enthusiasm, I would be very surprised if he did not.
In my mind, there's this problem that they have with what we're doing, because I've spoken to people who used to work at Klaviyo, and they're like, there's a guy who runs this compliance department who is very black and white on the issue that you guys are gray in. There's no room for negotiation.
How much of your business is with Klaviyo?
All of it. No, I mean like
Roughly like
roughly all of it. You could say that we're poking the sleeping bear, but I think with all the noise that I'm making and the traction we're getting,
You want to get ahead of it.
I have to figure it out.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's gonna be way worse, you know.
Yeah.
There's a glorious outcome where we're on this like fast track to them buying us at some point or whatever. Yeah, just exactly. Or this could be when we poke the sleeping bear and we get killed by the bear.
Right.
This is the path that I've chosen. I knew day one that this is what we were doing. Like, we are in a market where we are doing something that is sort of fringe. The beautiful part of it is that there's like a real misunderstanding of the laws, and like there's, you know, it just keeps people out of the market. Like, people don't want, so like it just gives us the ability to have this incredibly high velocity sales motion because we don't have any competitors. You're always like running this 1% risk of like absolute catastrophic blow up. What are you gonna do? We might sell this company for like $1 billion. Like, I'm gonna make that wager like all day long. And until that happens, I'm gonna have fun doing it. So. How you doing? Just can't wait to see what these guys say. By the way, John is here filming this episode today. Do you think I can mention to the guy, like, he's not going to be on camera and you can't hear his voice? Would there be any reason you think he would be sensitive to that? I think he'll think it's creative. Yeah. Entrepreneurial. Man, this would be a tough no-show. I just love that we're hitting them from so many different angles, you know? Like, we got Dave Wirtz on one. Hey! We thought that was going to be the case. We have been looking forward to this chat, certainly. So the guy hung up. He was visibly much less excited than 2 weeks ago. It wasn't bad though. 2 weeks ago, he was like chomping at the bit over this, and we were like, man, we're gonna feed this guy this data stuff and he's gonna be all over it. And like, that wasn't the posture today. So, but he didn't say, like, the biggest fear was he was gonna be like, I brought it up and they're like, we're gonna shut those guys down. Definitely didn't say that, and the things that he said did not allude to that being a possibility, really. We had the biggest sales week ever. Things are accelerating at an unbelievable rate. Everything is still just like bonkers, but it's like anytime, you know, you're going into something like that and there is this like crazy possibility of like a fast track, I think when it turns out to not be that, it's just kind of like, so, as Santos said, that's the life of the entrepreneur, right? It's a game we play. You ping these guys in
3 weeks and you're like, well, now we're at 20 million in revenue. And like another 2 months later, it's like, well, now we're at 30 million in revenue. It's like, they're going to start paying attention again.